Good afternoon. Today, for my speech, we are going to be going 70 years back in the past to an elementary school when kids are beginning to arrive for the day and begin their classes, and they hear a siren or an announcement from their principal that says, "Students, we are under attack, duck and cover." Many of you might be wondering, what does this term duck and cover mean? Well, duck and cover was a way where students would get out of their seats and hide under their desks in the case of military bombardment or an attack from a foreign nation. Many of you might be wondering, why would we do this? This is not an efficient way to protect our kids. Well, at the time, we were in the middle of a Cold War with the USSR. This was a time when the United States and the USSR had tense relations after the victory that they had in World War II over Nazi Germany. The US and the USSR differed economically, militarily, and how they would treat their citizens. So many of you might be wondering, why are we talking about the Cold War today? Well, I'm talking about the Cold War to get a better understanding of why the war actually happened and how we could pay tribute to those who have fought in this war or many other wars like the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, or many other wars like that. I want to pay tribute to those who have fought for our country and who have given their lives to its safety. As many of us know people who have either served in those wars or we have loved ones who have also served in those wars. Well, so for the Cold War, we're going to talk about how its economic principles caused a rift between two major superpowers in the world, how communism almost caused a nation to collapse because of fear and anxiety, and how proxy wars and the space race was such a vital role in the development of the relationships between the United States and the USSR. So first, we're going to talk about the United States versus the USSR. So the United States versus the USSR has a pretty tense backstory because during World War II, a few years previous before this, they were allies fighting against Nazi Germany. But after that, and after the fall of Nazi Germany, Germany was divided into four separate regions controlled by the victors of the World War II, including the United States, Great Britain, Russia, and France. The United States controlled the majority of the western part of Germany, while the Soviets controlled the majority of the eastern part of Germany. And in the West, they practiced capitalistic and more republican ideals compared to the East, where they practiced more communistic and everyone works for the government and not for their own selves kind of mentality. This started to set off a chain of spiraling events all throughout Europe as the West became more democratic and more capitalistic, like the United States, and the USSR tried to spread its influence to the eastern part of Europe to have many other nations become communist or socialist because they felt like if they could turn other countries to their cause, they would become stronger and stronger. Well, with that, there comes this. This is the symbol of the USSR. You can find this on the USSR flag that was used during the war, and this was a scary sight to many people during the Cold War, especially in the United States. In the United States, communism was the new enemy. It was the scary enemy that no one wanted to deal with. Many people were afraid that once communists hit the United States, many bad things would happen. So in Congress, a senator by the name of Joseph McCarthy started having his quote-unquote McCarthy trials, where he would try to prosecute communists who were ratted out by their friends or neighbors. And for a lot of them, they were not communists. They were just put up to the communist name by their friends and relatives because everyone thought that if you didn't agree with the U.S. government or if you spoke out against them, you were a communist, and that's all you were there for. So in being communist, that was not a good thing, because if you were a communist, then you were against the nation and you were against everybody else. So that includes this, landing on the moon. Many people don't realize how important the moon was to the Cold War, because the space race was so vitally important to the ideals of the United States and the Soviet Union. They both believed that whoever would be able to control space either by their satellites, their rocket ships, and other things like that, would be able to control missiles and other nuclear arms like that. So there were many wars fought over the space race, especially in Asia, in Central and Latin America. Many wars were fought over this time period because of the spread of capitalism versus communism. And in the end, Many nations fell into the hands of communism, but many nations today still practice capitalistic ideals and more democratic beliefs like the United States today. So in closing, I just want to say thank you for your time today for this speech. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that after getting to learn some more of these facts, we could be able to learn from our mistakes and be able to prevent another Cold War from happening. And also, we can honor those troops who have fought bravely in our military and our armed forces, and thank you for all that they have done for us. Thank you guys, and have a great day.